The Grand Bahama Christian Council not in agreement with the increase in value-added tax. Police officials sending a warning to residents purchasing and buying items on social media. And experience culture in the park this weekend.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rolf-Harkison. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the 2018-2019 budget debate kicked off in the House of Assembly today. And while there has been some optimism about some areas of the budget, the majority of Bahamians' focus remains on the 4.5% increase in VAT. Tonight, the Grand Bahama Christian Council is tackling the issue. President of the Grand Bahama Christian Council, Robert Lockhart, says that this increase in value-added tax is a burden on the Bahamian people and a burden that they cannot bear at this time. He says if an increase had to have been made, it should have been less than 12% and more time should have been given before its implementation.
But overall, I feel for where we are right now, especially in Grand Bahama, that a tax increase, especially how the government has also been in the process of laying people off. And I think I've observed that in the last 6 months, the government has probably laid off close to 3,000 people. And I just think it's very difficult to be laying people off and raising taxes at the same time. It's almost an unbearable burden.
He believes that there is sincerity in what the government is doing when it comes to reducing the country's deficit. However, he believes that Grand Bahama could have been exempted at this time due to the island's economic state.
I think even with the laying off of persons, Grand Bahama should have been exempted because Grand Bahamians have been losing jobs in the hotel industry, taxi cab industry, restaurants, jewelry stores, and now for Grand Bahamians to also be losing jobs in the civil service all at the same time, and then also to consider adding tax to that, seeing what we've been through as an island. I think all of that should have been considered.
The Deputy Prime Minister in a recent interview said that the government had no choice but to implement value-added tax at this time. As the country has some $8 billion in debt, the country could not afford another downgrade.
I feel that with wider consultation and if the facts were laid on the table as to outside pressures and inside pressures where our business minds can have that information, I feel collectively we've got to come up with a better plan.
Lockhart says while he is no economist, it is clear that this increase will have a negative impact.
There are going to be some negative effects. The cost of living is going to increase. Businesses are going to cut back. Some of that is going to consist of laying people off. It's going to create greater levels of unemployment. It may also act as a means of pushing away investors who are always trying to find ways to escape taxes to a degree.
He says in looking at the U.S. tax-based system, less taxes equals a better economy.
I've observed in the United States they cut taxes and it changed the economy. Unemployment dropped. Businesses begin to flourish. The economy is doing better. And so people have more monies at their disposal, and so the economy becomes all better.
In looking at the 2018-2019 budget, Lockhart says he carefully weighed the pros and the cons.
I think one of the things people are saying is that with one hand you giveth, and with another hand you taketh away. Because even though there were cuts on certain duty items which are good, because the VAT is being increased almost by 70-75%, it's almost as if it's all being taken right back. And so I think that's what's creating some of the challenges.
Now, some small business owners are also giving their take on the new budget. They say while there are some benefits in the budget, the VAT increase is causing a headache. Italia Hall has more on this story.
The 2018-2019 budget debate is a topic for discussion for many citizens across the country. But here in Grand Bahama, business owners in particular are concerned about what the 12% VAT rate would mean for their business. Some business owners say they have listened to the debate and have seen some benefits, but they still have mixed feelings on some of the decisions that will be made in just a few weeks.
I'm looking at it in the long haul. I do appreciate the fact of shoes being duty-free. That will help. I know that I still would have to pay VAT, which is 12% on it. Now, about the increase, what I'm concerned about is that my other cost of business will go up. My rent will go up, my light bill will go up, and the other costs of doing business.
I think it's going to benefit my business somewhat, but it's still going to be harder on the people.
People are hurting. And 12% increase in VAT is not the time to do it. You know, people are, and as a business person, it's just going to sink business down. Nothing is going to go up, because now you're going to tell me now if I bring in something and you're going to charge me 45% on this item, okay? 45% plus. When you do the 45%, then you add it to the item that I bought in. Then you're going to charge 12% VAT on that. That is crazy.
The current duty rate on vehicles is 65%. Larry Albury, who works at a rental car company and the owner of Palm Service Station and Convenience Store, says having to pay duty plus 12% VAT is costing too much for the rental car industry and persons who want to bring in cars.
I challenged the government to go back into the Treasury and see how much money they were making when the duty rates on vehicles were a lot less. With right now, I bet the Treasury is hardly making any money.
Now, that business owner says in addition to the 4.5% increase, he also has an issue with the amount of time that was given for him to prepare.
For July 1st, it's very hard to get software changed so fast because we have breadbasket items. So therefore, breadbasket items are going to be duty-free. I think that we need to start thinking a little bit ahead and giving business people a lot more time. If you're going to do changes, we need time to put these in place.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Police issuing a warning tonight about online shopping. It appears that a trend is developing here on Grand Bahama and consumers could be in trouble. For the past several weeks, police officials say many vehicles and items have been reported stolen. Superintendent Brian Rolls says these items have been posted on Facebook, and while they are not discouraging shopping online, they are asking for buyers and sellers to be aware.
For example, if you're going to purchase an item, know who you're purchasing from. Don't carry with you cash, especially if you're going to meet somebody who you just saw advertising something online. And we find in most of these cases, that's what happened. Persons took a lot of cash with them, purchase or buy and carry. They might think that's what they were going to do, not knowing the individuals who they were purchasing from. Once they would have arrived, these persons would have pulled a scheme on them, took the cash from them, and handed them over something that was already stolen.
He says their investigations have led them to persons selling stolen items.
Items were just recently stolen and were being sold online to other persons who are unsuspected, thinking, I finally got a good deal on a car, rather buying a car that was just stolen. So although we want to encourage e-commerce, because we know that's the way we're going in the Bahamas, we want you to be careful where you purchase from. If you're going to meet someone at a location, and you set the location, if possible, if you have to buy, bring them, even if possible, to the police station, where they can purchase, and you may be able, a police officer can ascertain whether this person has a legit right to what they're selling you, and you can also have somebody who will witness the purchase of the item.
And he adds that persons selling items on Facebook should also be alert for these scammers.
Persons are already view your vehicle was being offered for sale. They pull you out in an area, and they make you believe that they have money to make a quick cash sale. Be careful with this. Make sure you do not give your keys the persons to go and drive in your vehicle and you outside the vehicle, because we have had incidents where persons drive off a vehicle and you leave there standing up But nothing, in most cases, some persons can't even remember their license at the end of the day. So that makes it even more difficult for us. Ensure, rather, that if you're going to sell your vehicle, or any item in fact, you do not produce that item before you know for certain that the person who is offering to buy is someone qualified to buy and is someone who's not going to try to rip you off.
Superintendent Roll notes that there are no reported use of weapons while these items have been stolen, but adds that at this point they are unclear if this is a ring that's taking place.
I'd say it's too early right now for us to say that, but we definitely have seen an uptick in the type of vehicles, that are being taken, and the method that is being used to take these vehicles. We are seeing Chevy Cobalt are being the most frequent vehicles that are being taken. But of course, we've had other vehicles that were taken in the past.
Police say these stolen vehicles are being resold, used for parts, or sprayed to have a different look. They add that one person is in custody for a recent stolen vehicle. Still in news from the crime beat, police in Grand Bahama are investigating an alleged rape in the North Bahama area overnight. It is understood that a man broke in and entered a woman's apartment and sexually assaulted her.
On Tuesday, yes, we had a rape matter reported to us early Tuesday morning, and by late Tuesday evening, we have a male in custody who's assisting us with this investigation. And we are quite sure that we're on the right track in solving this matter.
Now, she contends that this is an isolated incident and they are confident that they are on the right track, and this matter will be brought before the court soon as investigations continue into this matter. Well, the authorities on Grand Bahama also investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of an abandoned vessel. Authorities were called to Xanadu Beach this morning, where the vessel was found just off the shoreline. When our news team arrived at the beach, officers at the Customs and Police Marine Division could be seen conducting their initial investigations. Now, no one was found on the vessel, and the inside of the vessel was gutted out. It is understood that the sea craft was registered in the United States. Police in Abaco are investigating the death of a male who was found in waters near the government dock. Reports say sometime this morning, officers were called to an area near the Sandy Point dock where they discovered the body of a male floating in waters. He was taken to the Marsh Harbor Clinic and pronounced dead on arrival. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.